everyone, and welcome to our video about paper. Wow, couldn't be more interesting, eh? This is exactly what you're thinking. I want to know all about paper. Well, chances are you maybe do want to know a little bit more in depth about paper, and that's why I thought I'd do this video. I know that we get a lot of questions, and I know from seeing other people's videos, there's always a lot of questions about what type of paper do you use, what kind of printer do you have, because you're looking to get the best result that you possibly can, and you should be. That is a great question and a great way to do it. So I wanted to go a little bit more in depth on paper here, just to hopefully save you some money on ink, save you from trying, oh, did this paper work? Did that paper work? Everything else. It's kind of like when you go to buy a new TV, isn't it? When you see the TV by itself, you think, hey, that's a pretty good picture. Then they turn on a whole bunch of TVs and you're like, holy smokes, look at how good that picture is in comparison. So we kind of want to do the same thing here. As you'll see in front of me, I've got two pieces of paper, the exact same paper. This is from our Idyllic collection, and this is one of our floral papers. So the one here on my left is printed on a good high quality paper. This one is printed on a lower grade paper, and I'm going to zoom in so you can really see the difference. Maybe you can see it already. But basically, I want to show you why we suggest that you use a higher quality paper. And I'm going to show you the papers that we use, the actual cardboard boxes of them and everything else. So we're going to go through that as well. And then I'm going to do a little segment on the computer, talking a little bit more about your settings, just showing you exactly, okay, when I click into this, what am I looking for? What am I supposed to do here? So that when you walk away from this video, you'll be quite confident saying, okay, I'm gonna go get this paper and I'm gonna print it out and I'll make these small little adjustments, or I know what to look for, and you're gonna have all the information you need in order to get good quality printing from your home printer. So let's start off with these. This one here is made on this paper. So let's cover up this paper for a sec. So this one here is printed on our Epson premium presentation paper in matte. Okay, obviously you can get glossy to do photos and things like that. Some people like that. Obviously, this is my suggestion. I'm not saying I'm the end all be all about paper. I'm saying we've been doing this long enough and I've tried lots of things. This is what my findings were. But everybody has a little bit take on things. So this is a suggestion. Let me just say that right up front. So this matte premium presentation paper, we find, gives you the best print. Okay. Now we happen to choose the Epson brand. Do you need to buy the brand which is the same as your printer? No, you don't. You can use this Epson paper in any printer out there. As you'll see down in the bottom, they've even get a little bit of a gold star on the fridge here, saying that theirs is the #1 choice for professionals. Obviously, you know, they can kind of say whatever they want, so take that with a grain of salt here. But we have found in trying out all kinds of different papers and all kinds of different printers, we have found that this is the one that we feel you get the easiest results with. You always get good results with it. So that's what you get here. Okay, this one on my right, holy, that's crinkly paper, isn't it? This is, let me just straighten that out. This is HP, again, see, we have an Epson printer, in case you're wondering, and I'll show you that later in the video. But this is an HP paper, and that's what this is printed on. Now, I'm getting a little bit of shadowing here in my lights. Let me just hold it up a little bit. So that's this one. Now, again, I'm going to go close up so that you can see the difference here between the two prints. Let me just come around to the other side of the camera here. And I will zoom in right in the center here so that you can see. Let's refocus for you. So you can see on the one with the matte presentation paper, that one there has stronger colors. They're more vivid. They're not as washed out, I guess. It looks more like what you see on your computer screen. If you look at this one here, you can almost, when you look at this flower as well, I don't know if this is coming through in your screen, you can almost, obviously this is lighter. Let me just slide these two papers together so you're seeing the exact same image. So there is the exact same image. So there's that flower, there's that flower. So see how you can compare the two and see that this one is washed out on the side, this one isn't. This one as well, there is a bit of a, because the paper is not as tightly woven, you will get almost like a, I don't know, like a loose fabric kind of look to it, like where everything isn't as tight. So you'll actually get a little bit, it will distort your picture a little bit. It will put a bit of a pattern in there that you may not want. Okay? So this all over, again, sliding this back. Let's do this another way. Let's slide this over this way a little bit, and I'll go this way. So I'll put this one on top. You can see how much more vivid the one on the right, this paper here, the matte presentation, this is so much more vivid than this one is. Look at the grays, like look at the difference in the color there. This is way more true and very true to what you see on your computer screen, which truly is what we're trying to print out. What we see on our computer screen is really what we're looking for. That's because that's why you're buying our kit. You look at it on the computer screen and you say, oh, that's what it looks like. Oh, I really like it. Well, when you print it out and you get washed out colors and it kind of looks kind of funny or whatever, well, that's really disappointing, isn't it? And all of it is related to your printer, okay? So, last thing about the paper. Let me zoom back out here so that I can show you about this here. Let's put you guy here. And we'll zoom in, focus for you here. Okay, so you will see that in this one, there's a few things about paper that you need to know. Number one, obviously the size. Well, here in North America, we use 8.5 by 11. In European, UK, and other parts of the world, they will use an A4. So you want to buy the right size first off. The next one is they will give you a pound rating. Okay, that's going to tell you how thick the paper is. Okay, that's all that's telling you. This number tells us our brightness, okay, for the sheet. It's at 96, and then there's a whiteness color, okay? So you don't really have to pay so much attention to the whiteness color. When you're buying a good quality paper, you just want to know how thick a paper do I want. Now, paper thickness, what does that mean, right? Like, how can you relate to that? Well, in the Epson presentation paper, this one here says this is a 44 pound. Well, our last one was 20, so this is twice as thick, obviously. Here, I'll let you in on a secret. 44 pound or 165 GSM, okay, for those of you in metric, that is about the same weight of paper, the same thickness that you're gonna get if you went to the store and bought this paper at the store. It was already printed for you at your craft store like you have bought in the past. That's about the same weight. So that'll give you a starting point to understand paper weight. The 44 will give you about that same sort of weight. So there is that about the quality of the print, the type of paper we use. Now let me pause this part of the video and hop onto my computer where I can show you the rest of it, where we're gonna see, okay, how do I get a proper print? Now that I have the right printer, or the right paper, how do I make sure I get a good print out of it?
So,
I'll see you soon.
We are on the computer. Let's have a good peek at exactly what we do when we press the print key. Now, it doesn't matter what program you're using. This could be Microsoft Word, this could be Photoshop Elements, this could be Craft Artist, this doesn't really matter. It's always the same when you go to print your paper, where we go up to File, we click on File, we press Print, and we get a window that comes up. Now, depending on what kind of printer you have, you may have a Canon or a Lexmark or something like that. Everything will be located in a different area, but you'll still have these same sort of guidelines to follow. All the printers kind of work the same. When you press print, you get this standard screen, and that's your program saying, okay, I'll just print away. Okay? What you want to find is the print settings. Okay? When we press the print settings key, this opens up, and now I'm talking directly to my printer rather than to my program. Okay? I want to talk directly to my printer and make my choices. So in here, again, mine's going to look maybe a little different than yours because I have this Epson ET450 printer, which I'll show you in a second so you know exactly what kind of printer I'm using. But you want to find paper type. Okay, so this one says plain paper, whatever, right? We want to choose premium presentation paper matte. Okay, that's the one, because that's the one we want to print on. For quality, we always want to choose high quality. Okay, always choose that when you're printing all of your papers, elements, all that kind of stuff. So that's the first part. Okay, now for the second part, you're going to see, and it may be on your front page here, again, just look for this setting on your front page. Mine happens to be under more options. There's something that says high speed. We never want to print at high speed. That's fine if you're just printing out a Word document, like just with letters on it. That's no big deal. But we want to make sure that it is actually printing at a nice slow speed so that you get a good quality print. So we never want high speed on. The last thing to do, you're going to see a thing that says advanced or advanced settings or more options, things like that. We want to click that. Now we're into our color controls. Okay? In your color controls, this is the real key to getting the best print. And this is where you're going to try a few prints, see what looks best, and then you're going to write those numbers down. You're going to see these numbers here we're going to talk about in a second. You're going to write those down, and every single time you print, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to go into this color thing, you're going to make the numbers the exact same thing, and then that way you know it's as easy to do, you always get the same thing. So when you are in your color controls, you're going to see color mode somewhere, and it's going to talk about maybe let your printer control it, which is Epson Vivid, or Adobe RGB. RGB is just red, green, blue. That's all that stands for, right? And you may or may not have this gamma setting, okay? And that's okay. We don't need to go that in depth on it, but you want to say Adobe RGB. That's actually how our file is created. We create in Adobe Photoshop. We create in RGB, red, green, blue. The other option you may see is something called CMYK. That is, again, those are your colors. Cyan, yellow, magenta, and K actually stands for black. So you can also choose that one. That's not a problem either. That is basically saying to your printer, let me control the colors. I want to see that. Now you'll have this where you see original photo and preview, okay? You'll always see, so whenever you make an adjustment, like let's just do this with contrast here. Let's just take this. See, if you watch this preview, just watch this part of the screen here. Watch this preview. As I move the contrast, you can see that when I move it all the way down, see how dark it makes it? And then see how light it makes it, okay? So it tells you automatically, you will see that on your screen as well, that you will be able to see a preview. The only thing that's really truly good for is just to say, okay, what does contrast actually do? I don't know what that means. Just move it full on, full off, like try it out so that you get the kind of the idea. Oh, it's kind of doing, if you again, we go full on, it kind of brightens everything. It kind of gives it a more vivid, I guess, color. And if we go all the way to the dark, to the low, it kind of makes everything really dark and subdued. So that's kind of what contrast does. So we'll set that one back to 0. Brightness is everything. It kind of washes it out, kind of like pouring more light onto it. Like take a big bright spotlight and put it on it, or take it and turn all the lights off in the room kind of thing. That's what brightness does, okay? So I'll set brightness back to 0. Saturation, okay? You're going to have all these same options here. Brightness, contrast, saturation, okay? So saturation is going to just work with your colors. There's all the way up. There's all the way down. It's almost like a vivid setting, but just dealing with your colors, okay? Now density, you may or may not have this setting, okay? We're not going to worry about that too much. The ones you really adjust with are brightness, contrast, and saturation. So as you can see, I have saturation set at 4, okay? And I have my density set at 2. How did I get there? Very simple. I printed it out with everything just standard at 0. So now I have something to work with. Then I adjusted these and printed again. Oh, well, yeah, no, that made it a little better. Oh, no, that made it a little bit worse. Okay, then I made a little more adjustment. Okay, that made it a little better, made it a little worse. So you may think, well, yeah, but boy, I'm going to waste paper, I'm going to waste ink. Yeah, but it's kind of like baking something. When you bake a cake and you think, hey, what if I tried this or I tried that? Ooh, wow, that's an overpowering flavor of like way too much cinnamon in there or way too much vanilla in there. You know what? Yeah, you're going to waste a little bit. But once you do this, you're going to always have the setting. You'll probably actually only end up printing out at max a half a dozen pages. And then as the paper comes out of the printer, right on the paper, flip it over right on the back, exactly what those color settings were. So I know saturation was at 2 or saturation was at 4. So then that way, when you lay them all in front of you when you're done, you're going to say, this looks more exactly like what I see on my screen here. And that's the one I always want to use. And then you'll always have your settings. So once you have adjusted your color controls, you press OK. We're back at the main screen again. You press OK again. Now you're back into your program's print screen. And then that's when we press print. Okay. Now, obviously, I printed them out. You saw my options, my printed options in the very beginning. So that's how to get the best print out of it so that it looks just like on the screen here. You can see the colors clearly. You know what it looks like on the screen, and you want your printer to match that. Okay. The last thing I'll show you here, this is the printer that we particularly have. We have tried Canon printers, we've tried Epson printers, we've tried all kinds of different printers, high-end ones, low-quality ones. We've had many printers over the years. We're not helping out the landfill very much. But at the end of the day, we found Epson gives us the best quality print all the time. Truest colors, where you don't, they're vivid, it's lifelike, it looks like what I'm seeing on my computer screen. That's the whole point. So this is the current printer that we have right now. This is called a Workforce ET4550. And so that you know, this printer, this is one of those all-in-one printers. So I can scan with it, I can fax with it, because obviously we need that for our business. But so we don't have any whiz-bang, high-end specialty so that I just print, this is a photo printer or this is a whatever. We don't have any of that. This is simply, we bought a good quality printer that works for our business, and then we adjusted our things. So you don't need to go out and spend $300, $400, $500 on a printer. You could spend $100 or $150 on a printer, and you will get, because you won't need a fax, probably, I'm assuming, you probably don't need a fax and a scanner and all the rest of that garbage on there. All you need is a decent quality printer. So don't worry about that when you go out to buy a printer. You do not need to spend big dollars on a printer in order to get the results that you're seeing what we get. So I hope that this made sense to you. Now you know about what to do in terms of what should I buy for paper? What am I looking for in order to get the best print? What thickness of paper? What poundage of paper do I need to buy? And how do I get that best print to get it to look like what I see on my computer screen? I hope you found this helpful. Please let me know. Leave me a comment if I went through something too quickly or I maybe didn't answer something that you have a question about. Don't hesitate to leave a comment and ask me about it. I'm happy to help you out. I want you to end up getting, when you download our kits and you see it on the screen and you're excited about it, I want you to be able to get it to print out just like you see it on the screen so that you're equally as delighted to craft with it when you're done. I hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed to our YouTube channel so that you'll receive all the new notifications about when we put new videos up. And I hope you enjoy printing now and do not have the frustration of what should I buy and what should my results actually be. Thanks again. See you soon.